Pioneer fans, Pioneer women's varsity basketball is live and on the air. We are live here at the main gym at Pioneer, where it is your Pioneer women's varsity basketball taking on Monroe. And we are joined now by Coach Micah Renz. How you doing, Coach?
Good.
Sorry.
Doing good. This should be a good game. On paper, they're pretty evenly matched up.
Excellent. Take a look at the different rosters or schedules here. Pioneer 4-7. They're coming off of a 3-game losing streak. They did have a 3-game winning streak before that. Then 4-6 by Monroe. They started off with a 3-game win streak. Then they had a 5-game losing streak. They beat Huron, but then lost to Dexter. So they're 1-1 in the last 2 games. So we'll see how that works. Pioneer is missing their head coach, as Tyrone Hicks has to sit a game as he was ejected from the last game. What else did you find out when talking to the coaching staff there, Coach?
Well, tonight at the helm will be a number 1 assistant, Fred Webster, who's been here 6 years. And worked closely with Coach Hicks, and he's got an impressive resume himself.
Absolutely.
He said tonight some key factors will be, it's kind of ironic, 2 of the 3 are the same as Monroe. They both want to keep turnovers down.
Absolutely.
And they both want to win the rebounding war. And Coach Webster and I have something in common, I found out.
Yeah.
He's getting into comics. He's did a couple open mics.
Very nice.
As I have, so we shared some stories.
Oh, you've done some open mics. How cool is that? That's awesome.
I did one.
Nice.
I did one, and it went good.
No, you are very brave. I've always thought about it and said, nope, I can make my wife laugh. That's good enough for me. So that's brilliant.
Right. Well, Coach Webster said they also have to play very aggressive, and the program's man-to-man predominantly.
Indeed.
And he very proudly states his team is a team. They really work together. They support each other. A couple players he said to keep eyes on, and he gave me some numbers. 22, Jasmine Gatson's averaging 7.9 points per game and 9.3 rebounds per game.
Nice.
Number 5, Jordan Davis, 5'8" sophomore, averages 9 points a game and 7.3 rebounds per game. 34, Haley Sheffield, the 5'4" senior, averages almost 6 points a game. 32, Emmanuel Davis, a 6-foot senior, who keeps impressing me, almost had a triple-double the other night with unheard of 9 blocks.
Wow, that is impressive. Absolutely.
Right, and she's actually averaging 3.2 blocks per game this season.
Very nice, very nice.
So the most recent game, Pioneer lost to Dexter 36-19. And Coach feels with that 3-game losing streak, they need a win. This will be a big win, actually, for both teams.
Indeed. Big SEC Red matchup, definitely.
Monroe Moody is the head coach for Monroe. It's his first season. He's a native of Summerfield, actually coached down there a few years as an assistant. And his assistant on the bench tonight is Matt Little.
Nice.
He has got a few players to keep an eye on, but number 1 is number 55, Sophia Bussell. She's a 5'8" junior. Last year in a game, as a sophomore, she broke the school record with 38 points.
Wow.
And in that contest, she had 7 threes.
Wow.
So, like I mentioned, he says the rebounds and keeping turnovers to a minimum. They move the ball a lot on offense. Defensively, they're more of a zone team.
So see a little man-to-man versus zone and see how those matchups work there.
Exactly. And looking at their average points per game and per quarter, it's almost identical. Offensively, Monroe has got a little edge. They average 39.4, Pioneer 38.5. Defensively, Pioneers got better numbers at keeping their opponents at an average of 41.7, while Monroe keeps their opponents at 43.9. So you can see,
Indeed.
offensively and defensively, these teams are evenly matched, and I'm looking forward to seeing a zone versus man
Absolutely.
is the game plan, but that can always change at any minute.
Indeed, absolutely. It should be a good game. Both teams really wanting to try and get in. And then the officials, as we'll get to that right after the national anthem, as ladies and gentlemen, to honor America, the playing of the national anthem. As we're just about to get into the starting lineups, as we'll have those across the way. And Weber is injured, so she will not be playing, so we will not see. As we're about to get into starting lineups here. As John welcoming everybody in. Monroe wearing their red jerseys with a white stripe on the side. Numbers in white on the front and on the back. Trojans in script on the front. Roberts comes out, starting for Monroe. Jordan Davis starting for Pioneer. Leach starting for Monroe. Gatson starting for Pioneer. As Neto coming out for Monroe. Emmanuel Davis starting for Pioneer. Alf starting for Monroe. Jones starting for Pioneer at the guard position. And Bustle, the fifth starter. Sheffield, the other starter for Pioneer. And then, Coach, you had the officials there.
Yeah, we got now the veteran crew here with a total of 29 years. We have Mr. Greg Moss, who's been officiating varsity level 8 years.
Nice.
Clay Bell, who's been on the court 13 years, and Chris Lake has also been officiating 8 years. All Michigan High School Athletic Association registered officials.
Fantastic. We appreciate them being here. Again, we can't have the games we love without the officials. Good crowd here, maybe not as much as when we were last together for Pioneer Saline, but still a good crowd here for a kind of wet, rainy evening. As we get ready, Pioneer in their white jerseys, white tops, white pants. Numbers in purple on the front and back, Pioneer and block lettering on the front. Pioneer going from right to left here in this, the opening period, as Emmanuel Davis in to jump versus Leach, and Pioneer has it. Jones over midcourt. Jones on the far wing. Jones hands it off to Jordan Davis. That knocked out of bounds. Pioneer will continue. 7:51 left to go. Pioneer to inbound on the far sideline. Jordan Davis with it. Jordan Davis looking for a place to go. Gets it to Emmanuel Davis. Band it off back to Jordan Davis down the near side of the paint. Put up and in. Jordan Davis with 2 points. Pioneer with the 2-0 lead. 7:41 left to go here in the first. Bustle gets it ahead. Then over to Roberts. Roberts bounce pass. That tip. Sheffield racing back to get it. Sheffield picks it up. Sheffield down the far side of the paint. And out of bounds. Bustle back there trying to make it difficult. Pioneer will maintain possession. 7:29 left to go here in the first. 2-0 Pioneer with the lead. Jones to inbound baseline left. Jones looking. Jones gets it over to Sheffield on the far sideline. Sheffield now comes towards top of the key, about 10 feet off of the arc. Hands it off to Jordan Davis. Now on the near wing, racing in his Gatson into the paint. Gatson puts it on the deck, dishes it off. Now Sheffield for 3. That off the rim. Pulled back and out of bounds right at the Monroe bench. 7:09 left to go here in the first. 2-0 Pioneer with the lead. Bustle to inbound. Now bringing it ahead is Neto. Neto coming down that far side for Monroe. Neto over half court being watched by Jordan Davis. That tipped out of bounds. That will stay. Monroe ball is off. Will inbound it on the near sideline. Off. Bounce pass, gets it over to Neto on the near sideline. Neto dribbles around the arc, gets it over to Off. Off, top of the key, back to Neto on the near wing. Neto comes to the free throw line. Neto looking underneath, now spinning with it, gets it back over to Bustle for 3. Bustle, rattles around and out. A rebound underneath as that was Leach who put it up. Foul. Emmanuel Davis picks up her first foul, as that's one foul on Pioneer. That up and in for Leach. Leach with the first points for Monroe. One more coming for Leach. Trying to get the game tied up. Leach bends the knees, eyes the rim, puts it up. Rattles out, grabbed by Gatson. Gatson puts it ahead. Pioneer 2. Monroe 1 as Sheffield straight to the rim, puts it up. That ball's off the rim to the near side, grabbed by Jones. Jones grabs it back as that's going to be a double dribble. Monroe with the ball, 6:29 left to go here in the first. Pioneer by a point. Monroe, Bustle, inbounds. Gets it into Neto. Neto bringing it ahead. Neto dribbles to her right. Jordan Davis watching her. Neto over midcourt. Neto. Bounce pass over to Alf. Alf comes to the near elbow. Alf trying to get it underneath. That picked up, put up. Back is grabbing it. Leach stolen away. Emmanuel Davis gets it back to Jones. Jones brings it over midcourt. Jones into the near corner for Sheffield. Dishes it off to Emmanuel Davis. Trying to get it over to Gatson as Jones tracks it down. Gets a screen from Gatson. Jones dribbles down the far sideline, hands it off over to Jordan Davis. Jordan Davis trying to avoid pressure by Roberts. That's sent up off the rim, comes out to the far corner. Off with it. Pioneer 2, Monroe 1, 5:44 left to go. Off over midcourt. Jordan Davis watching her. Off. The highlighter yellow shoes gets it over onto the far sideline to Neto. Neto. Bounce pass. Now into the near corner. Alf works her way around the arc. Jordan Davis watching her. Gets it over to Roberts. Roberts comes to the near side. That off the side of the rim. Pulled down as grabbing it Jordan Davis. Over to Jones. Jones brings it ahead for Pioneer. 2-1 Pioneer with the lead. As Bustle watching Jones hands it off to Jordan Davis. Jordan Davis gets it over to Jones on the far sideline. Emmanuel Davis on the far wing. Emmanuel Davis trying to get it to Gatson underneath, just out of her reach, out of bounds, and it will be Monroe ball. Both these teams kind of feeling each other out. Low scoring first 3 minutes so far. Neto down the near sideline. Sheffield full court pressure in the back. Gets it over to Bussell down the far sideline. Bussell races ahead. Bussell kicks it off into the far corner for Leach. That up underneath and in. That is going to be Roberts who gets the go-ahead bucket. That makes it. Jordan Davis picks up the foul. That's her first foul. 3-2, Monroe with the lead, trying to double up Pioneer. Roberts to the line, trying to make an old-fashioned three-point play. That up off the back of the rim, pulled down by Leach, though, tipped away by Gadsden. Leach double team, pulled away by Jones, down the far sideline for Pioneer. Jones brings it ahead. Jones to the bucket, puts it up off glass, wouldn't go, off the near side. Quickly ahead with it is Neto, down, off, gets it off the underside of the glass, collision underneath, whistle. Looks like both players are all right. Off a little slow to get up. Davis picks up her second foul. That is 3 on Pioneer. None so far on Monroe. 4:35 left to go. Off to the free throw line. Off again trying to make it a 2-point lead. She has the opportunity. First shot is up off the back of the rim. Would not go. 3-2 Monroe with the lead. One more shot coming for Alf. Jordan Davis out. As in for Pioneer is Powell. So Jordan Davis gets a breather with 2 fouls. One more coming for Alf. Alf bends the knees, puts it up off the back of the rim and in. Alf has her first point of the game, and it's 4-2. Monroe with a 2-point lead. Jones brings it over midcourt. Jones down the far sideline, hands it off to Sheffield. Sheffield watching by Bussell. Watched by Bussell. Sheffield comes back. It's about 7 feet off the top of the key. Over on the near wing. That move by Powell over on the near wing. Back to Emmanuel Davis trying to get it underneath the Gatson. Gatson puts it up. Gatson puts it in. Gatson with her first points of the game. We're all knotted up at 4 apiece. Bussell brings it ahead at 4:09 left to go. 4-4 is the score. Powell watching Bussell over to Alf. Alf top of the key. Alf being watched by Jones. Underneath trying to get it over to Neto. That out of her reach. Pioneer will inbound Gatson. Baseline right. Pioneer score all knotted up 4 apiece. Powell brings it over midcourt. Powell being watched by Alf. Kicks it over to Sheffield. Into the near corner for Gatson. Gatson. Now, top of the key, over to Emmanuel Davis. Emmanuel Davis trying to get it underneath the Gatson. Gatson turns, puts it up off the back of the rim, wouldn't go. Good rebound by Emmanuel Davis, kicks it out to Gatson. Now Sheffield on the far wing. Underneath the Gatson. Gatson down the baseline, puts it up, puts it in. And Pioneer thinks has something going in the paint. Gatson with 4, and it is 6-4 Pioneer with the 2-point lead. Bussell skies it ahead, trying to get it over to Roberts. Roberts has it stolen away by Jones. Whistle underneath. We'll see what this call is. That is going to be on Roberts.
I'm glad to see Pioneer's got a couple offensive rebounds. They've turned into points. I'm surprised Monroe started in a man. Haven't seen any zone out of them yet.
Seemed like the offenses both needed just a little bit of time to kind of figure each other out, too. It's low scoring. Originally, Jones on the far sideline. Bussell watching her. Jones gets it over on the near wing, over to Powell. Powell works her way around the arc, gets it over to Sheffield. Sheffield at the blockades. Sheffield dribbles to her right, trying to get around off. Gets a screen from Emmanuel Davis. Bounce pass on the far sideline to Jones, who gets a screen from Gatson. That's stolen away by Leach. Coming the other direction, Monroe, full court pressure by Jones on Bussell. Bussell gets over midcourt. That is a foul. Jones picks up the foul. Pioneer has 4 fouls, 1 more. That'll put Monroe to the line. As Roberts inbound, baseline right, 6-4. Pioneer with the 2-point lead. As Roberts looking for a place to go with it. Roberts bounce pass as that put up. Whistle underneath. Travel called. That will be Pioneer ball. Gatson inbound. Baseline right. 2:42 left to go here in the first, 6-4. Pioneer with the lead as Powell brings it ahead for Pioneer. Powell comes over midcourt. Picked up there by Alf. Powell gets it over to Jones on the far sideline. Jones has Bustle watching her. Jones comes top of the key. Jones dribbles to her right. Jones on the far sideline. Big pressure. Jones dribbles out of it. Jones off of the top of the key. As pressure by Roberts. That is going to be a timeout called by Pioneer. So what are your thoughts so far, Coach?
Well, low scoring, and
Indeed.
both teams stress turnovers. And at the moment, I believe both teams have 4 apiece, which is a little too many for any coach.
Indeed.
I think Pioneers got to play in the paint stronger, and offensive rebounds are going to turn into points.
Indeed. Indeed. It looks like if they can get it to Gatson in the paint, she's had a good position a couple times, so that might be a matchup that they might get to take advantage of as early on. When did it 2 fouls in the first? Do you typically at that point do you typically hold a player out for a little bit and give them a little breather? Like, where is that in the first quarter? Where is that kind of line that you have? I know it's a little bit about the player, but
there's no general rule. You
Yeah.
hit it right in the head. That depends on the maturity of that player, how physically they play.
Yeah.
Some players can adjust to officiating, and some of them they can't.
Pioneer gets it over to Emmanuel Davis. There is a whistle. That's going to be offensive foul on Gatson. That is going to put Pioneer in the that'll put Monroe in the bonus. That is Gatson's first foul. 6-4, Pioneer with the lead. 2:09 left to go here in the first. As Fred Webster having his say over on the far sideline. The officials talking to the scorer's bench. Full court pressure here by Pioneers, 6-4. Pioneer with the lead. Bustle coming ahead with it. That over to Alf. Alf racing down the far sideline. Alf now comes towards top of the free throw line. Gets it over to Bustle. Bustle being watched by Powell. Over on the near wing. Into the near corner. As grabbing that's Neto. Neto gets it back up over to Marcy Wiley. That pulled away. Emmanuel Davis gets it over to Jones. Jones down the near side for Pioneer. Jones dishes it off to Powell on the far sideline. Powell comes top of the key. Tip back. Powell gets it back. Powell gets a screen from Gatson. Now trying to move it back as that was tipped away by Macy Wiley. Coming the other direction. Here comes Alf. Alf races down the far sideline into the paint. Alf loses it. That grab by Powell. Powell comes the other direction for Pioneer. Powell over midcourt trying to get it over to Gatson. That pulled away by Leach. And here comes Monroe the other direction. As the turnovers mount for both teams, Neto comes over midcourt. Jones watching Neto. Neto goes to the left. Bounce pass. And over to Macy Wiley. Over to Alf on the far sideline. Powell watching her. Macy Wiley. Now over to Leach at the near wing, or on the near wing. Leach. High up. That knocked away by Emmanuel Davis. Emmanuel Davis stops, gets it back to Jones. 48 seconds left to go here in the first. Jones over to Powell. Powell right at the blockades, gets it over to Sheffield. Sheffield dribbles to her right. Sheffield has Macy Wiley on her, gets it over to Powell on the far sideline. As that Powell bounce pass over to Emmanuel Davis. Emmanuel Davis down into the paint. Spins, puts it up from the free throw line. Off the back of the rim, up and in by Gatson. Good rebound by Gatson. She has 6 points. It's Pioneer 8 and Monroe 4. 14 seconds left to go in the first. Quickly ahead to Bustle. Bustle stops, puts up the three, and that up and in. Bustle with a three-pointer banked off the glass, and it's 8-7. Pioneer with the lead. Sheffield puts up a long three from midcourt and could not make it. So at the end of the first, it is 8 Pioneer and 7 for Monroe. 6 points for Gatson, 2 for Jordan Davis. On the other side, it's 3 for Bustle, 1 for Leach, 2 for Roberts, and 1 for Alf. Any other thoughts about that first quarter there, Coach?
I was just looking at some quick numbers, and
Yeah.
Pioneer does have 6 of their 8 points are in the paint, and I believe all are offensive putbacks. Monroe only has 2 in the paint, but back at that turnover number, Pioneer has 5, and Monroe now has 8. So I think both teams are going to make some adjustments here to fit what they want to accomplish. But looking at the points and points against, both teams are below scoring offensively and keeping their opponent below their average.
See, it seems like it's been very tight defense too early in this game, which has led to some of those turnovers.
Yeah, I think Monroe is doing a pretty good job of trying to keep the ball out of the post. They're not just keeping their eye on the ball. The team is keeping the ball in vision and the player they're responsible for.
As Monroe to inbound right in front of us as they have the possession arrow. Monroe down by 1, looking to take the lead. Neto in front of us to inbound. Bustle in the backcourt. Bustle gets it in the backcourt, brings it ahead. Bustle over midcourt, moves it over on the far wing, over to Macy Wiley. Macy Wiley on the far elbow, gets it underneath the Ulf, up and in. Ulf now has 3. There's some more point paints for Monroe. Monroe now has the 9-8 lead. Bringing ahead is Powell for Pioneer. Pioneer down by 1. Powell, top of the key, coming down the near part of the paint, puts it up off glass. Would not go, rolled off the front of the rim. But a foul. That foul is going to be on Macy Wiley. That is her first. Willie, excuse me. So that will be the first foul of the quarter. Powell puts it up off the back of the rim, off the front of the rim, would not go. One more for Powell, trying to get this game tied up, 7:38. Dribbling, spins the ball. That put up and off the back of the rim as Powell gets her own rebound over to Emmanuel Davis. Up and in. Emmanuel Davis with her first points of the game. Good job by Powell to find her. 7:29 left to go here as Pioneer has a 1-point lead, 10-9. That ball stolen away by Emmanuel Davis. Add to Powell over midcourt. Powell coming down the far sideline. Powell stops, trying to dish it off underneath to Emmanuel Davis. That tipped out of bounds. Pioneer last to touch it. That will be Monroe's ball. Monroe to inbound, bringing it ahead is Macy Willie. Down on Bustle, comes over midcourt. Sheffield watching her. Bustle gets it over to Macy Willie on the near wing into the near corner. 3-pointer put up, wouldn't go by Neto. Pulled down. Here comes Pioneer. Powell has it coming the other direction with 6:54 left to go. Sheffield on the far wing into the paint. Sheffield up with the right hand and in. Sheffield with 2 points, and it's Pioneer 12 and Monroe 9. Full court pressure by Pioneer. Bustle brings it ahead for Monroe. Gets it over underneath. That knocked away as Wernemount has it. Over to Powell. Good job by Wernemount to get that loose ball. Powell now at the blockades for Pioneer. Powell dishes it off to Wernemount in the far corner. Trying to bounce it into Emmanuel Davis. That off of Bustle's foot. Kick ball is coming back in for Pioneer. Is going to be Gatson. Emmanuel Davis gets a breather. As Delaney Willie comes in for Monroe. That ball over to Gatson on the far wing. Gets it, top of the key now on the far elbow. That moved over. Powell, top of the key, puts up a 3-pointer off the rim, off the glass. Pulled down, put up and in. Good. As Bullock, wearing number 51, gets it. As Bullock has 2 points. And double teamed. That is going to be a timeout call by Monroe. They call 30-second timeout. 6:02 left to go here in the second. 14-9, 6-point lead by Pioneers. They continue to try and rotate players but get it into the paint. Is there anything Pioneers doing to try and make it difficult on Monroe as far as causing the turnovers as they've continued to force those turnovers for Monroe?
Yeah, you look at that 2 ways. Or Is the offense just being careless?
Indeed.
And I think it's a combination of both there. And Monroe's got to just slow it down a little bit, be a little more patient, and get into whatever offense that they want to do.
Pioneer definitely with the focus of getting the ball into the paint early on. Bustled inbound on the near sideline, just to our right. Bustle gets it into Alf on the near wing. Alf back to Bustle into the paint. Gatson trying to watch the paint. Bustle knocks it. I believe that might have been, I believe she was able to knock it off of Gatson, so that will be Monroe ball. Baseline right. Bustle looking to inbound. Bustle gets it over to Alf. Alf on the near wing into the near corner. Bustle for three. That off the rim. Pulled down by Alf. Alf quickly up. That bounces up and in as Alf has 5 points now, and it's a 3-point game, 14-11. Pioneer with the lead. Powell brings the head for Pioneer. Powell with the three-pointer. Powell hits the three-pointer, and she has her first points of the game, and it's 17-11. Pioneer with a 6-point lead. That ball moved over by Delaney Willie. Now over to Bustle on the near wing. Bustle works her way from the near side to the far side, just inside of midcourt. Gets it over on the near wing, as that is going to be a travel, as Roberts took a step while trying to pass the ball. That will be Pioneer ball, 17-11, 5:18 left to go here before halftime. Powell gets it over into the far corner. Sheffield down the baseline, up and off the near rim, over to Sheffield in the near corner, as that was a good rebound by Wernemout. Now Jones, top of the key. Bustle with tight coverage. Jones on the far sideline. Jones gets it over to Wernemout. Wernemout over to Sheffield on the near wing. Sheffield works her way around the arc. Now down into the paint. That tipped away. Sheffield trying to get it back. Stepped on the baseline. That will be out of bounds over to Monroe with 4:10 left to go before halftime. 17-11. Pioneer with that 6-point lead. Only one foul so far. That belongs to Monroe. As bringing it ahead is Roberts. Roberts over to Bustle. Bustle bounce pass. That put up. Grabbed into the far corner. Alf now moves it over to Bustle on the near wing. Bustle comes top of the key. Bustle steps back on the blockades. Jones watching her. Bustle looks to Alf to her left. That went off and out of bounds. Pioneer ball. I think that might have gone off of Bustle's foot as she was dribbling.
That's what it looked like to me.
It's got to be so frustrating when you're dribbling, trying to make a move, and all of a sudden it tips away from you. That would happen to me all the time, but the good players only every once in a while. Powell has it just inside of center court for Pioneer. Powell dishes it off to Gatson right at the free throw line, puts it up. That off the side of the rim, pulled down. Coming the other direction is Cohen. Cohen gets it over to the far elbow, as that is Delaney Willie. Knocked. Sheffield trying to get it out of bounds. As it is going to be Monroe ball over the protestations of the Pioneer crowd. Or no, it will be Pioneer ball. So Jordan Davis back in for Pioneer. Gatson to inbound. Baseline right, gets ahead to Powell. Wernemout takes a breather. Powell brings ahead with 4:05 left to go. 17-11 Pioneer with the 6-point lead. Jones on the near wing. Jones bounce pass down the baseline. Jordan Davis up and in. Jordan Davis has 4 points, makes herself immediately felt as she checks in. Bustle has it. Pioneer 19, Monroe 11, 3:45 left to go. Travel call by Bustle. She looks over in disbelief, gets it back to the official. 3:44 left to go here in the second. Pioneer with an 8-point lead. Officials talking to a scorer's bench. I think we got everything figured out there. Possession arrow points to Monroe's way. Jordan Davis inbound, gets it over to Powell. Powell over midcourt. Powell. Now Gatson shows the screen. Powell gets it over into the far corner, trying to work her way into Sheffield. Sheffield puts it up off the glass, falls off the near side of the rim. Alf with the rebound. 3:29 left to go. Pioneer by 8. Alf over midcourt. Alf on the near wing to Bustle. Bustle dribbles to her right. Bustle trying to make her way in. Bustle puts it up and grabbed as that just off the rim to the near side. Jones coming the other way for Pioneer over midcourt. Jones. As that is going to be a foul on Bustle. Bustle will pick up her first foul. Second foul of the quarter for Monroe. Jordan Davis to inbound on the near sideline. Macy Willie in, as well as Neto and Leach back in for Monroe. Powell has it on the near wing. Powell gets it top of the key over to Jones, now over to Sheffield on the far wing. That into Gatson. Gatson just off the paint to the far side, back over to Jones. Now Powell for three. Off the rim, pulled down by Gatson. Gatson on the baseline. Gatson works her way in, puts it up, spins in, and that's going to be a travel. No basket, travel called. 2:55 left to go here in the second, 19-11. Pioneer with the lead. Monroe to inbound. Neto gets it in to Bustle, gets it back. Full court pressure by Pioneer as Alf gets it ahead, trying to move that over. Stolen away by Pioneer, out of bounds. That is going to be Monroe ball. 2:46 left to go as Neto to inbound on the near sideline right in front of the Pioneer parents. Neto looks to her right and skies it up for Alf. Stolen away by Jordan Davis. Now here comes Sheffield. Sheffield over center court. Over to Jordan Davis down the baseline. Jordan Davis stops there. Gets it over to Gatson, up and in. Gatson with a game-high 8 points. 2:31 left to go. 21 Pioneer, 11 Monroe. Alf gets it ahead. Bustle down the far side. Gets it into the paint. Now kick back to Neto for three. Neto, that rims out, comes out onto the near wing. That is going to be a travel as Macy Willie had it. Pioneer. No, sorry, Powell with a foul. That will be her first. One foul on Pioneer, two on Monroe. Manuel Davis gives Sheffield a breather. Alf to inbound, baseline right. Alf gets it over to Bustle on the near sideline. Bustle makes her way to the edge of the paint. Back to Alf for three. Had a little too long, pulled down. Here comes Pioneer as Jordan Davis with the rebound. Over to Jones, over midcourt. Pioneer with the 10-point lead and the ball. That over to Powell on the far wing. Powell gets it over to Gatson. Gatson inside on the paint. Now back on the far wing for Powell. That one off the glass comes down. Monroe with the rebound. Coming ahead with it is Alf. 1 minute, 50 seconds left to go before halftime. On the far sideline is Neto. Neto watched by Gatson. Pioneer 21, and that is going to be a double dribble. That will be Pioneer ball with 1:43 left to go. Pioneer 21, Monroe 11. 1:43 left to go before halftime. Gatson to inbound right in front of the scorer's bench. Gets it in to Powell. Powell over center court. Powell over to Jones on the far sideline. Jones tries to make her way in, puts up a long two-pointer. That off the glass, down to the near side. Alf with the rebound. Monroe skies it over. Coming down the far side of the paint is Macy Willie. Rebound by Gatson, coming ahead with it. Now, top of the key, Powell gets it over to Jones. Jones into Gatson. Gatson puts it up. That off the side of the rim. Pulled down by Macy Willie. Macy Willie over to Alf with 1 minute, 12 seconds left to go here before halftime. Alf working way, gets back. Jordan Davis watching her. Alf over center court. Gets it over to Neto. Neto working against Jones. Neto picks up the dribble. Over to Bustle on the far sideline. Bustle working against Gatson. Bustle bounce pass, top of the key. As working her way in is Leach. Leach down the paint, puts it up, off glass, and in. Leach with 3 points as it's 21-13. Pioneer with an 8-point lead. 43 seconds left to go. On the far sideline, Jones with it, back to Gatson. Gatson over on the near wing, into the near corner for Powell. Powell double team, gets it over to Jordan Davis on the near wing. Gets it over to Gatson. Gatson underneath to Manuel Davis. Manuel Davis splits the double team, puts it up, wouldn't go off the glass. Jordan Davis underneath, and that is going to be a jump ball. Possession arrow is Monroe's. 25.5 seconds left to go here before halftime. 21 points for Pioneer, 13 for Monroe. Wernemout comes back in for Pioneer. Alf to inbound, baseline left. Jordan Davis gets a breather. Now Alf. Full court pressure by Pioneer. Alf gets it into Bustle. Bustle back to Alf. Alf bounce pass over to Neto down the near sideline. Neto over midcourt. Neto gets it over to Bustle for a three. That off the rim. Hold down by Powell. 14 seconds left. Pioneer over midcourt. Powell into the paint. Puts it up and off the rim. Out of bounds with 6.8 seconds left to go. That is going to stay Pioneer ball. Not a lot of time to work. Pioneer trying to get it back to a 10-point lead. They will inbound baseline left. Powell there to inbound. As Powell gets it into the near corner. That put up by Jones and 3. Oh, Jones has her first points of the game and makes it a 11-point game. So at the end of the first half, 24 points for Pioneer, 13 for Monroe. What are your thoughts on that first half, Coach?
Well, both coaches hit it on the nail head with turnovers, didn't they?
Indeed.
That was going to be a key factor tonight, and that number is high for both of them. I'll have the team comparison here in a second.
Yeah.
I like what both teams are doing. Overall, the Pioneers executing a little bit better.
Yeah.
I noticed Pioneer suddenly, instead of looking into the paint to score, they were being happy with jumpers, perimeter jumpers, and the scoring went down, the percentage went down. So I always believe when something's working, you keep doing it until you're stopped.
Indeed.
Monroe, when they're patient, they got their offense set up and spread and execute with good passes, and the other estimated part of that is catching the ball. They're going to get good scoring opportunities too.
Indeed. When you have a team that has some turnover issues, is that full court pressure, does that something that really kind of helps cause those turnovers too, that you might go to try and force a team to really take it all the way up the court?
Most of the time, especially when you first put on any kind of pressure, whether it be a man or a zone, players have a tendency to panic for a second or lose that patience and just wait for your teammate to break to a spot and make that good, crisp pass to them. So a lot of times you can get some quick points, 4 or 6 quick points with the coach, and then we'll call a timeout. And what I always did with my timeouts, I know he's adjusting to my press, so I put a different press on.
There you go. Okay.
So now it's a whole different look, and that team and coach has to adjust to that movement.
Indeed. Let's take just a brief moment and turn it over to the cheer team, and then we'll be right back, talk a little bit more, and have your call of the game. As that was the Pioneer cheer team. Any other thoughts on that first half before we flip over to the You Make the Call?
Yes, I do. We're fortunate tonight to have Kim Ahrens on the stats.
We are so privileged. Thank you, Kim.
She's got some toe-to-toe comparisons, and Pioneer has out-rebounded Monroe 16-12. That's now the statistic both coaches were concerned in.
Indeed.
I didn't realize Pioneer has not got to the line, and Monroe's 2 for 5 at the line, which is a mere 40%. Total turnovers, a big one, 6 for Pioneer, 14 for Monroe, And in the paint points, and I think most of these were in the first quarter, in the first couple of minutes of the second quarter. But 18-8 bench points, 5 points contributed by the Pioneer bench. The bench for Monroe hasn't contributed with points yet. And Pioneer has 6 points from the arc, and Monroe has 3.
Excellent. And again, thank you, Kim. Those are great stats. And let's take a look at the You Make the Call, and then we'll take a little bit of a break and go into an intermission scoreboard report. So what is today's You Make the Call, Coach?
Well, we're going to go to technical fouls. Again, in the officials' locker room, we went over these. They all got it right.
Excellent.
Which doesn't surprise me.
Indeed.
But they like it. They like a quick refresher on things. Today's short one. All of the following result in a technical foul except which? Now the key word here, all of the following result in a technical foul except which? A player grasps the ring, or you could call it the rim, to prevent injury. Or is it B, a player hangs on the ring in pregame warm-ups? C, a player intentionally slaps the backboard while a try is in flight. Or D, a player places a hand on the backboard to gain an advantage. And as a coach, I've experienced all 4 of these.
Indeed. So we'll get back to that. Let's play a couple messages from the MHSAA. We'll come back with a intermission scoreboard report and go over that. So think about that a little bit and see if you can get that right. We will be right back from these messages from the MHSAA.
Sportsmanship has never been more important between the lines in athletics and outside those lines in our communities. To listen, to respect, to understand, to practice common decency, to have competition without contentiousness. Sportsmanlike qualities are essential components of life itself. Let's all work together to not only be good sports, but good people. A message from the Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics. Have we gotten to the point where at some high school game that an official has finally had enough from coaches, players, and adults, pulls off the whistle, and offers it to you? Let's hope not. There's no way you could do a better job. It's on everyone to promote good sportsmanship. So before you blurt something out about that next close call, consider this. Without the officials, nobody wins. A message from the Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics.
Let's do an intermission scoreboard report, taking a look at the MHSAA. If you're looking for any scores, the MHSAA is the place to be. And somehow what I had is no longer there, so that's fun. So I'll have to look that up as that happens. So let's do one more promo here.
Can you go anywhere and find an endeavor in society where we've come to accept and tolerate an adult, and even kids, treating another adult the way we allow spectators, coaches, and players to treat a high school game official? Can you? No one has the right to abuse game officials. So before you blurt something out about that next close call, consider this. Without the officials, nobody wins. A message from the Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics.
So just pulling up the SEC Red. When you go to a search, you can search on the MHSAA and go to the scoreboard and then come down, search by date, search by games, and then there are only about couple thousand different conferences in here. So there we go. Hey, look at that. Always fun you have something up. So taking a look back on the 19th, it was Skyline beating Huron 51-40. Dexter beat Monroe 55-33. It was Pioneer falling to Saline 43-30. And Bedford beat Lincoln 64-17. On the 20th, it was Bedford Temperance Fedra beating Toledo Whitmore 55-27. On the 22nd, it was Skyline beating Green Hills 35-30. On the 23rd, Pioneer fell to Dexter 36-19. Ypsilanti Lincoln beat Huron 66-38. On the 24th, Monroe and Skyline, no score submitted for that one. And it was Bedford beating Saline 39-30. So let's take a look at that. You make the call and see if I can, make the call and get that right. So you want to read that one more time, Coach?
Sure. All the following result in a technical foul except which? A player grasps the ring to prevent an injury. B, a player hangs on the ring in pregame warm-ups. C, a player intentionally slaps a backboard while is in flight. And D, a player places a hand on the backboard to gain an advantage. Only one of those will not receive a technical. Do you know what one it is, Mark?
Well, I believe, Coach Aaron, the wording is important. I think A, where it says they're hanging on the rim to prevent an injury. I know at least at the college and professional level, if someone's beneath you, you can hang on that rim to prevent an injury. So I'm going to go A.
You are correct. And
Excellent.
that is true on all levels.
Yep.
You can only grasp the ring to prevent an injury. And that's usually a defender or even a teammate that gets underneath you. And if you fall, you could injure yourself and that player. So if you have to hang on a couple seconds, that's no problem.
Never been anything I've had to worry about, is I've never gotten close to the rim without a ladder, but that's neither here nor there. Gatson inbound over to Jones. Jones brings it ahead as we start off the second, 24-13. Pioneer with an 11-point lead. Sheffield on the far sideline gets it over to Gatson. Gatson gets it on the far side of the paint. Now back to Gatson, puts it in as Emmanuel Davis sets it up for her. That falls a little short, out of bounds. That will be Monroe ball. Alf to inbound, baseline right. Golf gets it back from Neto. Alf coming down the far sideline, gets it over midcourt. Alf comes to the blockades. Jordan Davis watching her. Alf dribbles to her left. Alf bounce pass, and that's stolen away by Gatson. Gatson ahead to Sheffield for Pioneer. Sheffield comes top of the key. Sheffield works her way around the arc. Sheffield picks up the dribble, gets it to Emmanuel Davis in the paint. Back to Sheffield on the near wing. Sheffield double teamed, rise to work her way around Bustle. Gets it over to Gatson. Gatson works her way to the far elbow. Underneath to Emmanuel Davis, up and in. And the foul. Emmanuel Davis with 4 points. Opportunity to make it 5, and there's those more points in the paint the Pioneers done so well with.
Boy, that's a big play. That's a tough basket to make. It looks like an easy right-hand layup, but halfway through the fluid motion that she had, she got hit on the head. And you got to keep your concentration.
As that rebound up by Gatson, as Gatson rebounds the miss, puts it up, and she has a game-high 10 points. More points in the paint for Pioneer. Coming up the far side, here comes Monroe. Over to Bustle. Pioneer up 28-13. Bustle puts it up. That off the side of the rim, off the far side. Jordan Davis with the rebound. Jones ahead for Pioneer over midcourt. Jones on the near wing. Jones floats it up to Emmanuel Davis into the paint. Puts it up. That off the far side of the rim. She tips it out, trying to get it to a teammate, but they had all vacated that side, and that goes out of bounds. Good attempt and good job to try and tip it away. Just nobody to grab it. Neto coming the other direction. Pioneer with a 15-point lead. Neto over midcourt. Jordan Davis watching her. Bounce pass over to Alf on the far sideline. Alf back to the underneath. Puts that up off the bottom of the rim as that was Leach. But a foul underneath. I think that was on Gatson. We will see.
That was a nice entry pass. And she caught it high, kept it high, and just got fouled at the last second.
Leach, first shot would not go. Off the front, the back of the rim. Emmanuel Davis picked up that foul, first of either team. Or no, excuse me, both teams have one at this point. Next shot up, and neither of them would go. So Monroe, some issues from the line as bringing it ahead. Jones, top of the key. Jones hands it off to Jordan Davis. Jordan Davis gets over to Sheffield on the far sideline. Gatson on the far wing. Over to Emmanuel Davis. Comes top of the key. Emmanuel Davis hands it off to Jones. Jones on the near wing. Jones trying to split a pair. Gets it top of the key. Now Jordan Davis in the baseline. Underneath to Emmanuel Davis. Rolls around and in. Emmanuel Davis with 6 points. Pioneer 30. Monroe 13. Monroe brings that. Neto over midcourt. Neto gets it to the far corner as that's put up by Roberts. Would not go off the rim. Pulled down by Pioneer. Here comes Sheffield over midcourt. Sheffield dribbles to her left. Sheffield top of the key. Sheffield, Neto has it underneath. Emmanuel Davis up and in. As Pioneer feeding the paint. Emmanuel Davis now has 8 points as Pioneer steals it away. Underneath, Emmanuel Davis. Oh, rolled off to the far side of the rim. Pulled down by Bustle, heading the other direction. Bustle skies it for Monroe. Gets it underneath to Roberts. Roberts puts it up, wouldn't go. As Jordan Davis with the rebound ahead to Sheffield, quickly the other direction. Sheffield down to the baseline, puts it up. That just a little short, trying to get to it. Knocked away, back. Pioneer has it. Emmanuel Davis up off the front of the rim. Pulled down, that put up and in. Jordan Davis gets it. That's 6 points for her. 34-13. Pioneer with a 21-point lead. Neto quickly ahead for Monroe. Gets it over to Roberts, top of the key. Roberts over to Ulf on the far sideline. Sheffield watching her. Ulf comes to the block A's. 4:38 left to go. Bessel comes to the top of the key. Bustle looking to her right. Gets it over to Roberts. Roberts back to Bustle. Bustle works her way. Top of the key now. Moves it over on the near wing to Neto. Neto works her way around the arc, comes down the near side of the paint, puts it up high. That block, but a whistle. As that's going to be a foul. Make sure I get right this time. That's going to be on Gatson. Gatson with her second foul. 2 on Pioneer, 1 on Monroe this quarter. As Sheffield ties her shoe. Neto to the line. First shot up by Neto. Off the back of the rim, would not go.
Well, Pioneer's playing great defense, Mark. Look at that, 4 minutes and held them scoreless.
Indeed, very good defense. Good ball rotation by Pioneer to move it around and open up the paint. Neto with her second shot, trying to get the first point for Monroe this period. That up and in. Neto with her first point, and it's 34-14. Pioneer by 20. Jones for Pioneer down the far sideline. Over to Wernemout. Wernemout gets it over to Jordan Davis on the near wing. Jordan Davis over to Emmanuel Davis, top of the key. Emmanuel Davis dribbles to her left. Gets it to Jones. Jones to the free throw line. Underneath to Gatson. Up and in. Gatson with 12 points. 36-14. 22 points for Pioneer. Had dished off onto the near side by Macy Willie. Macy Willie moves it over to Bustle over midcourt. Bustle double team. Comes to the top of the key. Now Jordan Davis taking her alone as Bustle dribbles to her left. Bustle looking for some help. Bustle dribbles to the left. That ball skips away, grabbed ahead. Here comes Jordan Davis down the near side of the paint. Puts it up with the finger roll and in. Jordan Davis, nothing but net on the finger roll. She has 8 points. And it is a 24-point lead by Pioneer. Bustle gets it. Now into the paint. That put up wouldn't go by Leach. But that looks like it's a foul on Pioneer. That will be Pioneer's third foul. Wernemout picks up the foul for Pioneer. That will be her first foul. Third on Pioneer this quarter, so 2 more puts Monroe shooting free throws. First one up and would not go by Leach. Bullock comes in for Pioneer. Dribbling the ball. Leach puts up her second shot. That off the rim wouldn't go. Rebound pulled down by Jordan Davis as a big battle there. Got it away from Cohen. Now Jones, top of the key, over onto the near wing. Wernemout for Pioneer for 3. Wouldn't go. Gatson with the rebound. Gatson works her way in, up and in, puts in the shot. There was a foul underneath, so does the basket count? Or was it an offensive foul? Looks like basket counts. Basket is good. Leach picks up her first foul. Gatson trying to make it a 3-point play. She is already in double digits looking for her 15th point. That next shot is up and good. Gatson with 15, and it's 41-14. Pioneer with the lead. That Sky down over to Neto. Monroe with the ball over midfield. Neto gets it over to Bustle. Bustle coming down the baseline on the near side. Puts it up. That a little too strong. But a whistle and a foul. That will be Pioneer's fourth foul. That one is. So Bullock picks up the foul. Again, wearing 51 today. Normally wears 20. That put up and in by Bustle. Bustle's first shot. That gives her 4, trying to make it 5. Delaney Willie comes in, replacing Leach. Bustle dribbles the ball, spins it, now bends the knees, puts it up. That falls off the rim, but rebound by Monroe as that shot from the far elbow wouldn't go. Gatson with the rebound. Here comes Jones for Pioneer. Coming down the far sideline, Jones. Dribbles to her left, Jones. On the far sideline, trying to get away from Bustle. Jones now into the paint, puts up a floater, and that goes in. Jones has 5 points now as that one bounced around and in. Pioneer 43, 15 for Monroe. Bustle brings it for Monroe, puts up a three-pointer. That one falls short, out of bounds. Pioneer ball. Bustle can hit those three-pointers. She has one already this game. That one just didn't have just enough juice. Coming ahead with it, here comes Jones for Pioneer, 43-15. Over into the near corner. Wernham out for a three. That one rattles home. Wernham out with her first points of the game, and it's 46-15. Pioneer with a 31-point lead. Bringing it ahead, Delaney Willie over to Neto. Now bringing it is Macy Willie into the paint. Rolls into the near corner. Bustle for three. That one is good. Bustle with 7 points. That one makes it 46-18. Back down to a 28-point lead for Pioneer. Timeout called.
Well, we don't want Bustle getting a lot of confidence. 7-1 game.
Indeed.
Last year, 38 points.
She can definitely hit them.
She looked comfortable with that one. Well, the Pioneer bigs are really doing well inside. You can see the team's playing with much more confidence.
Absolutely.
This second half, and that's made a big difference.
24 points for Pioneer in the first half, 22 in this second quarter alone, and we still have 1:32 seconds left. As that Pioneer offense has really been good, and they've held Monroe to 5 points so far in this quarter. So it's been an impressive quarter for Pioneer. They just hope to keep it going. But as you said, absolutely they can't leave Bustle open too much out there, as she can definitely go off. Pioneer is going to break the huddle. 1:52 seconds left to go in the third. 46 points for Pioneer, 18 for Monroe. Pioneer to inbound, baseline left. They have the ball. Bullock to inbound. Bullock gets it to Jones. Jones brings the head for Pioneer. Over half court. Bustle picks her up there. Jones hands it off over to Wernham out. Knocked away by Bustle. Pioneer. That will be over and back as a valiant attempt by Jordan Davis to keep it from going over the line, but couldn't quite do it. Now Bustle to inbound, right in front of the scorer's bench. Bustle gets it into Macy Willie, into the far corner. That out of bounds, Pioneer ball. Or excuse me, Monroe ball. Bustle to inbound, right in front of her own bench. Bustle looks as Jones providing coverage into the far corner. Delaney Willie has it there. Bump by Bullock. That is going to be a foul on Bullock. That is going to be her second foul. That is 4 fouls on Pioneer. One more. No, that's 5 fouls. That'll put Monroe to the line shooting as Delaney Willie goes to the line to shoot. So Bullock is going to be substituted by Powell, but that's not going to happen just yet. First shot up by Delaney Willie. She spins the ball, bends the knees, puts it up, puts it in. So Delaney Willie with her first point of the game makes it 19 for Monroe, trying to make it an even 20. Get it down to a 26-point lead. Delaney Willie spins the ball, eyes the rim, puts it up, puts it in. Both are good. As Delaney Willie has 2 points, Pioneer brings it ahead. 26-point lead for Pioneer. Powell over half court, hands it off to Wernham out. Wernham out works her way around, gets it over to Jones on the far sideline. Jordan Davis on the far wing. That tipped by Bustle out of bounds. I think that is going to be Pioneer ball, I believe. And it will be Neto going to get the ball. So now Jordan Davis to inbound right in front of her own bench with 1:24 left to go in the third. Jordan Davis Gets it over to Gatson. Gatson hands it back off to Jordan Davis, top of the key. Jordan Davis into the paint. Dishes off. Warren out for 3. And off the rim. Gatson with the rebound. Up and good, but no basket. The foul happened beforehand, I believe. Delaney Willie picks up her first foul. And his third of the period for Monroe. Wernemount has it in the near corner. Makes her way. Just off the paint, trying to get it over to Jones. That ball, Wernemount tracks it down. Over to Jordan Davis, down the baseline. Jordan Davis up off the glass. Would not go. Rebound. Jordan Davis got her own rebound and put it in. She has 10 points. Here comes Bustle the other direction for Monroe. 48-20, Pioneer. 28-point lead. Neto has it, top of the key, over to Bustle. Bustle for 3. Bustle hits it. Again, now she's feeling it. That's her third 3. She has 10 points, 44 seconds left to go here in the third period. Jones down the baseline, puts it up. There's a whistle and a foul. 25-point lead by Pioneer. That is going to be Bustle who picks up her second foul. 37.6 seconds left to go. Jones trying to add to the 48-23 lead for Pioneer. First shot by Jones up. Rims off front, back of the rim, and out. Would not go down. Jones with one more coming. Gerwood comes in as Sheffield in as well. So for Pioneer, you have Garwood. Jones puts up the second shot off the back of the rim. That pulled down by Bustle. Quickly ahead, grabbing it. Neto, that tipped out of bounds. Pioneer ball. So as we were saying there, it is Powell, Jones, Sheffield, Garwood, and Jordan Davis out there for Pioneer. Powell goes over half court. Powell on the near wing. Powell dribbles to her left. Now Powell, top of the key, moves it over to Sheffield on the far sideline. Jordan Davis on the far wing, dribbles into the paint, going to put it up. There is a foul. Delaney Willie with her second foul. Jordan Davis to the line. That is the 5th foul. So that first shot rims out for Jordan Davis. Both teams will be shooting for the last 15.5 seconds left of the third. Then those fouls will reset for the 4th. Jordan Davis bends the knees. Puts it up. Puts it in. Nothing but net on that one. Jordan Davis with 11 points. 49-26. 26-point lead. Or 26-point lead by Pioneer. Neto into the paint. Puts up a hook and puts it in. Neto has 3 points. Here comes Powell ahead. 1 second left. That will do it. No basket. No basket. At the end of the third, 49-25, as Monroe was able to get 12 points in that period. Big help, 2 3-pointers by Bustle helped make that happen. But Pioneer doubling up, more than doubling up their point total. Thoughts on that third period, Coach?
Well, Monroe sputtered their first 4 or 5 minutes there. Then they picked it up and scored some points. They got on the board, and some of them were free throws. Like I said, we got to be careful that Bustle doesn't get going, man.
Indeed.
At this point, Jasmine Gatson's got 9 rebounds, and Jordan Davis has got 8 rebounds.
Both very impressive, absolutely.
That would be great if they could pull off a double-double tonight.
Indeed.
Turnovers this half. Pioneers only got 1, and Monroe has 3.
So that got cleaned up an awful lot in that third, so that is good. So heading into the 4th, it is 49-25 Pioneer with the lead as Alf inbounds, gets it over, as bringing it ahead is Cato. Cato coming down the far sideline. Cato on that far wing over to Roberts. Roberts back over to Alf. Now gets it over to Bustle on the far sideline. Bustle watched by Sheffield. Bustle trying to dish it underneath. That over to Roberts. Roberts puts it up. That off the glass. Trying to pull it down is Garwood. There's a foul underneath. That is going to be a foul on Roberts. That will be her second foul. Garwood inbound baseline left. Now coming ahead with it. Here comes Powell. Pioneer 49, Monroe 25. Powell has it in the front court. Gets it over to Sheffield. Now Sheffield on the far wing over to Garwood. Garwood dishes it off in the far corner for Powell. Powell works her way around the arc. That knocked away by Bustle. Powell gets it back. Powell heads down the baseline trying to put up a floater. That ended up back behind the glass, but a foul blown. And that is going to be, I think, on Bustle. That is going to be her third foul, 2 on Monroe in the fourth. And shot up by Powell, rattles off the front of the rim, off the glass, wouldn't go. One more coming for Powell. Powell eyes the rim, puts it up. That off the back of the rim falls off to the far side. And coming down the far sideline quickly ahead to Alf. Alf covered. That back and blocked as racing in Emmanuel Davis took the shot from Alf, blocked it out of bounds. That will be Monroe's ball.
That's her second block in the last minute.
A couple more and she might be able to get to that 9 block as that put in. Alf has it. Alf moves it over onto the far side on the wing for Leach. There's a three-pointer by Bustle. And again, Bustle puts it in. She has 13. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4 three-pointers by Bustle. 3 off that 7-point game. Garwood has it on the far sideline, 49 to 28. 21-point lead by Pioneer. Emmanuel Davis hands it off to Sheffield. Sheffield, top of the key, into the paint, puts it up, high off the glass and in. Sheffield with 4 points, 51 to 28. Pioneer with the lead, 6:33 left to go here in the fourth. Bustle bringing it ahead over half court. Bustle onto the near wing for Roberts. Roberts skies it over. Bustle has it knocked away by Sheffield. Sheffield races ahead into the paint, puts it up with the right hand, off glass and in. Sheffield with 6 points, 53 to 28. Now Alf brings it ahead. Alf, pressure in the backcourt by Jones. Alf for Monroe. Bounce pass over onto the near wing for Cadle. Cadle to the free throw line to the near elbow. Cadle gets it over to Bustle. Bustle, pressure by Sheffield. Bustle for 3. And off the rim, off the back. Hold down by Emmanuel Davis. Sheffield did a good job of not giving her a lot of room to get comfortable. Sheffield back the other direction. She goes to put it up. Foul. As I think someone got her hand as she was going to the rim. Wernemouth, Gatson, and Richards in for Pioneer. Garwood, Emmanuel Davis, and Jones head to the sideline as well, Sheffield. So Powell gets it in. Bullock on the near wing. Bullock gets it underneath the Gatson. Gatson in the paint. Gatson trying to make a move. Now kicks it back out. Grabbed by Powell. Powell comes top of the key. Powell puts up a shot that off the back of the rim. Grabbed by Bullock. Bullock puts it up. Wouldn't go off the near side of the rim. Pulled down by Leach the other direction. Here comes Monroe. Alf down the far sideline. Alf comes top of the key. Alf over on the near wing to Roberts. Roberts into the near corner. Now Bustle works her way around the arc. Bustle steps back, comes over onto the far wing. Sheffield watching her. Now racing in. Roberts into the paint, puts it up off the back as Bustle gets a rebound, trying to put it up and off the bottom of the rim, out of bounds. Pioneer ball, 5:05 left to go here in the fourth. 53 to 28. Pioneer with the lead. As a 25-point lead, Powell hands it off to Wernemouth. Wernemouth over to Richards. Richards gets it on the far sideline to Bullock. Bullock gets it into the far corner. Wernemouth for a long 2. Wouldn't go. That one falls short. Alf moves it over, coming down Bustle. Bustle over midcourt. Bustle dribbles to her right. Wernemouth watching her. Bustle moves it over to Alf on the far sideline. Alf comes top of the key. Alf, Gatson watching her. Alf picks up the dribble. Alf looking for a place to go with it. Alf moves it over on the far sideline, over to Leach. Leach into the far corner. And skied over to Alf down the near side of the paint. Alf on the baseline, spins with it. Gets it back over, but a whistle. Timeout called by Monroe, 4:24 left to go. Monroe, 2 timeouts remaining. No fouls by Pioneer in this fourth quarter, 2 on Monroe. Now, Pioneer has brought in a number of bench players, and it always seems like a tough call for a coach because you have some time left. You have a fairly comfortable lead, but you don't want to give the other team too much momentum. And it's really hard if you pull off some of your starters to it always seems hard to get them back in and get them warmed up. How do you handle that? Like when do you put that in?
I usually substitute one at a time, maybe two, and you want your players to get the experience, of course, but also experience with other teammates.
Indeed.
So you have experience playing with the starters and non-starters.
So Gadsden, the lone starter in Monroe. Bustle to inbound the ball. Bustle gets that over to Cato. Cato trying to get it underneath Alf. Alf puts it up off glass and in. As Alf now has 7 points. Pioneer brings that 4:12 left to go. 53-30. Pioneer with the lead. As Powell bounce pass trying to get underneath that, stolen away by Roberts. And traveling called. That will be Pioneer's ball. Turnover there as Pioneer will inbound baseline right. Powell comes over to inbound. 4:04 left to go. Powell gets it into the near corner for Wernermount. Wernermount works her way around the arc. Wernermount working there against Leach. Wernermount trying to get it into Bullock. Bullock has it in the near corner. Bullock bounce pass trying to get it into Gadsden. That knocked away by Roberts. Monroe doing a lot to try and keep Pioneer from getting it into the paint. Now Gadsden comes out as Hartley comes in for Pioneer. Powell gets it into Wernermount in the near corner. Wernermount picks up her dribble, puts it up. That off glass wouldn't go to the far side. Wernermount gets her own rebound and in. Wernermount with 5 points. And it's 55-30, 25-point lead by Pioneer. Alf with it in the backcourt. Wernermount with pressure. Alf comes over midcourt. Alf trying to get it in, trying to move it over to Leach. That into the near corner. Three-pointer put up by Roberts, wouldn't go. Rebound, that put up by Leach. Leach now has 5 points. Powell ahead, 55-32. Pioneer with the lead. Wernermount on the near wing into the near corner as Powell works her way around the arc. Powell stops on the near wing now, comes top of the key. Now over on the far wing, hands it off to Wernermount. Wernermount works her way, comes back, top of the key. Wernermount back over on the far sideline to Powell. Now over to Bullock. Bullock works her way into the paint, puts it up with the right hand off the near, off the rim, falls off to the near side, but a whistle and a foul underneath. That Roberts picks up her 4th foul. That is no fouls on Pioneer. 3 on Monroe. Bullock to the line. Bullock bends the knees, puts up the first shot. That rattles around. Oh, comes out the front side, hit the front, the back of the rim, then falls off, would not go. One more for Bullock. Tough luck miss there. Bullock gets the ball, dribbles, spins it, eyes the rim, bends the knees, puts it up. That one off the front of the rim, pulled down by Alf. Monroe with it, 55-32. Pioneer with the lead, 2:45 left to go. As trying to get it, Richards trying to jump in the way of the pass. That goes out of bounds. Sheffield comes back in for Pioneer. So Pioneer keeping a good rotation of bench players as well as bringing in a starter to keep things going. That moved over to Bustle. Bustle has it into the near corner. Gets it over to Roberts into the paint. Tipped away, but Roberts gets it back up and in. Roberts with 4 points, 55-34. 21-point lead by Pioneer. Sheffield brings it ahead with 2:29 left to go. Sheffield on the near wing. Bustle picks her up there. Hands it off to Wernermount. Wernermount going to her left. Wernermount gets it over to Powell. Now back to Wernermount into the paint. Wernermount picks up her dribble and jump ball. That is going to be Pioneer's ball. Possession or points Pioneer's way. 2:16 left to go here in the fourth. 55-34. Pioneer with the lead. Powell gets it to Sheffield in the near corner. Sheffield into the paint. Puts it over into the far corner. Powell for 3. And Powell hits it. Powell, just like her brother, able to hit those 3-pointers. We're just like her brothers, able to hit those 3-pointers. Now Alf comes over midfield. Alf coming down, gets it, top of the key, over to that coming down to Cadill, down the far side of the paint. Cadill puts that up off the near side of the rim. Rebound by Roberts. Roberts puts it in and up and in. Roberts with 6 points, 1:40 left to go. Here comes Pioneer. Powell comes over midcourt. Powell calling out signals. Now out to get her is Leach. Powell dishes it off to Sheffield. Back to Powell. Powell puts up a 3-pointer. That off the rim, falls off to the near side. Wernemouth trying to get to it, but that out of bounds. Monroe's ball, 1:25 left to go. 58-36, Pioneer, 22-point lead. Hartley back in for Pioneer. And on the other side, Neto bringing it ahead. Neto for Monroe with 1:20 left to go. Sheffield picks her up there. Over onto the near wing, that over to Macy Willie. Macy Willie on the near elbow. That tipped away by Hartley. Down to the court, trying to pull that away. Coming away with it is Neto. Neto back over to Macy Willie. That into the paint, knocked away. Here comes Pioneer. Sheffield with a minute left, down the other direction, into the paint. Sheffield stops, puts it up. Off the rim, mouth to the far side. Rebound, and that goes out of bounds. 55.5 seconds left to go. So Richards picks up the foul for Pioneer. That's their first foul of this period, of this quarter. 1 foul on Pioneer, 3 on. And it's going to be 3 on Monroe. So Monroe ball baseline right. Neto to inbound as Neto gets it over to Delaney Willie. Delaney Willie bringing it up the court. 50 seconds left to go. 58-36. Pioneer with the 22-point lead. Sheffield steals it away. Sheffield over midcourt. Sheffield onto the near wing. Sheffield, that ball tipped away, gets it over to Wernemouth. Wernemouth onto the near wing, into the paint. Wernemouth puts it up, rolls around off the near side. Richards chases it down. Richards in the paint trying to put it up. There is going to be a foul with 29.5 seconds left to go. So Cowan picks up the foul. That puts Richards to the line, shooting 2 with 29.5 seconds left to go. Richards puts up the first shot, off to the near side. One more shot coming. Powell, Wernemouth, Hartley, Sheffield, and Richards out there for Pioneer. Next shot is up, and that is good. Richards with her first point of the game, 29.5 seconds left to go. Ahead, Macy Willie gets it underneath. That put up by Cohen. Wouldn't go. Knocked away from behind, but put up and in. I believe that was Macy Willie who put that. Macy Willie with her first points of the game. Powell brings it over midcourt. Powell now moves it over to Wernemouth. 8 seconds left to go. Wernemouth over to Sheffield. Sheffield has it with 4 seconds left to go. Now 3. Sheffield down to the court. Nice sportsmanship there by Delaney Willie to help her up. Appreciate that. That'll be the 5th foul on Monroe. That will put Sheffield to the line with 3 seconds left to go. Everyone off the line and back for Pioneers. Sheffield alone on the right-hand side. Sheffield puts it up, puts it in. Sheffield with 7 points. 60-38. Back to a 22-point lead. Sheffield trying to make it 23. Sheffield. That up off to the far side. That will do it. Pioneer with the win. 60-38 as game high. Gatson with 15. Davis with 11. Jordan Davis with 11. Sheffield with 7. Emmanuel Davis with 8. 1 for Richards, 2 for Bullock, 5 for Jones, 5 for Wernemouth, and 6 for Powell. On the other side, it is 13 for Bustle, 5 for Leach, 2 for Macy Willie, 6 for Roberts, 2 for Delaney Willie, 7 for Ulf, and 3 for Neto. Final thoughts on the game there, Coach Ahrens?
Oh, what a difference in halves, huh?
Absolutely,
Man.
absolutely.
Man, that's it's a good game. It's a good win for Pioneer, and I'm sure Monroe's going to learn from this and come out. Sophia Bussell, the junior, far below her average, but she warmed up the second half and got some numbers for her. She was 4 for 9 from the arc. She blocked a shot and had a couple steals. But Pioneer, I'd like to mention a few. I thought the bigs did a very good job.
Yes.
Gatson, Emmanuel Davis.
Yes.
Jordan Davis played a good game, and every time I see Powell get the ball, and she does something, and she played an all-around game.
Indeed.
She's a freshman, and that's impressive.
Absolutely.
And,
Absolutely.
And I think we've seen 3 or 4 of their games, and she keeps improving in leaps and bounds.
Indeed. Getting some serious minutes with in the game, so that's absolutely impressive.
Yeah. Kudos to the Pioneer bench those last couple of minutes. They got some stops. You could feel the intensity
Indeed.
from the players on the floor. That was impressive.
And so taking a look as we get our final toe-to-toe. Next game for Pioneer will be that will be on the 20. That was Monroe. That's going to be on the 30th versus Temperance Bedford. So that game will be here on January 30th. For that one, for Monroe, their next game is going to be on the 30th, hosting Lincoln. So that would be their next game. Unfortunately, this weekend, Pioneer women's hockey is going to be up in Traverse City. We wish we could make it there. We cannot. They're going to be playing the Traverse City team up there. Taylor Lundberg, former Michigan women's hockey player, who's the coach up there. We will be with Michigan women's hockey doing Adrian, home and away. That will be at Adrian at 7 o'clock on Saturday and 4 o'clock at Yost Ice Arena before we head back to some more Pioneer action coming up next week. Any final thoughts before we close out, Coach?
No, I enjoyed doing this game, and they're always fun. It's
absolutely
both teams played hard. Both teams were well coached, and a little bit of an awkward situation with assistant coach filling in, but this team adjusted well and
they played well.
Snapped a losing streak.
Yeah. So huge thank you to you. Huge thank you to Kim for doing stats. My wife, Christina Wiseman, up on camera. My name is Mark Wiseman. Thank you very much, everyone. Have a fantastic rest of your evening. Have a great weekend, and take care, everybody.